Today, a Marine killed during a military drill in Australia will come home to Colorado for the last time. Major Tobin Lewis from Conifer was one of 4 killed when their aircraft crashed off the coast of Australia last month. This afternoon, his body will be flown into Centennial Airport. Groups supporting his family are organizing a procession from the airport to a cemetery in Evergreen. They'll go down 470 over to 285, then north into Evergreen. They're asking people to line the route with flags in support of the Lewis family.
The White House is now responding to the impeachment inquiry against the president as House Speaker Kevin McCarthy defends his decision to move forward.
An impeachment inquiry is simply empowering the House to a greater level to get the documents they need to answer questions.
House Republicans are investigating whether President Biden profited off the foreign business dealings of his son Hunter and other family members, but have not yet found any direct evidence. The White House says the president did nothing wrong.
President Biden's son, Hunter Biden, is suing a former Trump aide over allegations of computer fraud. The allegations tie back to Hunter's personal laptop. His lawyers accuse Garrett Ziegler of illegally hacking in violation of federal computer privacy laws. The lawsuit alleges that since leaving his White House post, Ziegler tried to access devices that purportedly belonged to Hunter Biden. Earlier this year, Hunter Biden's team called on the Justice Department to open a criminal probe into Ziegler and others they say disrupted information obtained through alleged hacking. Ziegler's attorney has not responded to a request for comment.
A federal judge in Texas just rejected the Biden administration's latest attempt to save the DACA immigration program. The program has shielded hundreds of thousands of undocumented young adults from deportation. The judge ruled President Barack Obama exceeded his authority when he created the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program back in 2012. The judge decided recent changes meant to shore up the program against legal challenges didn't make a difference. The judge did not mandate an immediate end to the program. Current applicants or dreamers can keep and renew their protection. No new applications, though, will be allowed. The Biden administration is expected to appeal the decision, and the case will likely end up in the Supreme Court.
We could be less than 24 hours away from another strike, this time with the United Auto Workers Group. The United Auto Workers president, Shawn Fain, says that offers from companies are not enough. According to Fain, General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis have raised their initial wage offers, but have rejected some of the union's other demands. The union is threatening to strike if an agreement is not reached by midnight tonight. Fain says the union is prepared to strike.
We're still very far apart on our key priorities. From job security to ending tiers, from cost of living allowance to wage increases, we do not yet have offers on the table that reflect the sacrifice and contributions our members have made to these companies.
It would be the first time in the union's 80-plus-year history that this is happening with all 3 companies at the same time. Denver wants to create a team that would help move people living on the streets to hotels or pallet shelters as part of Mayor Mike Johnston's plan to house 1,000 people by the end of the year.
All right, 90s reporter Courtney Yoon joins us live in Denver. And Courtney, the thing is that this contract would start in October, likely before the housing alternatives even exist.
Yeah, good morning, Jordan, Corey. The idea with this is that these outreach teams would connect with people living out on the streets in Denver and then help them get into available housing. It's all part of a proposed contract that's $6.4 million, partnering with the Colorado Coalition for the Homeless. And now this all falls under Denver's Department of Housing Stability. They want to create groups called encampment resolution outreach teams. The goal is to make contact with someone and within 4 weeks move them into housing. Over time, they'd close down encampment sites. They won't necessarily move people into shelters, but rather alternatives like pallet shelters and tiny homes. Denver's mayor and his team are still working to build these micro communities. So in the meantime, outreach teams would identify immediate needs for people experiencing homelessness.
Under this contract, our goal would be at a minimum 90 individuals or 90 households, because oftentimes we serve couples, sometimes we serve families, getting 90 folks into these indoor spaces. Now that's contingent on these indoor spaces being made available.
The Colorado Coalition for the Homeless already connects with people who are unhoused, so this proposed contract would expand their services. A committee approved the contract proposal yesterday, and now it goes to the full city council for a vote. Jordan, Corey.
All right, Courtney, thank you.
A solution to help with the housing crisis in mountain towns is running out of money. Dozens of people could lose their housing if Summit County doesn't change things. For the last 2 years, Summit County has paid property owners thousands of dollars to rent their homes to people who work in the county instead of short-term rental apps like Airbnb. A report to county commissioners shows the program went on pause back in May because it was over budget. Housing staff want to revive it, but not offer quite as much incentive money. 48 people have leases ending this fall and could lose their housing if the county doesn't continue the program.
Social Security payments could be going up a bit more than expected in the new year, but an advocacy group says it may not be enough for people. The Senior Citizens League says that the Social Security cost of living adjustment will likely be 3.2% for 2024. That would add about $57 to monthly benefits, raising them to $1,790 for the average person. The adjustment is based on an average of inflation readings for July, August, and September, but the Senior Citizens League says that the cost of goods and services is going up faster than benefits are.
The inflation rate has gone up for the second month in a row after a year of decline. The rate grew 3.7% in August, a 0.5% above the previous month. That slight jump was reflected in gas and food prices, but while inflation did go up, a JP Morgan strategist says people should not worry because the rate overall is still cooling.
And one thing you want to know about our weather today are the stats. Going for a high of 72 degrees today. Normal high is 81. Normal low is 51. The record 92 from 2018. And Eric, a look at this record low 29 from 2003.
I'm real glad it's not 29 degrees out right now, Ed. Thank you so much. Right now we want to check in on the commute because we are following a closure, or rather an area to avoid. Denver police are investigating an overnight fatal crash at Federal and 44th Avenue. We know it involved a motorcyclist and a driver. Again, avoid that area.
Utah Senator Mitt Romney is calling it quits after his term is up. The 2012 Republican presidential nominee posted the announcement on social media this week. Romney has been a vocal critic of former President Donald Trump and President Biden. In the farewell video, he encouraged future generations to get into politics. Romney is 76 years old and he has held his Senate seat since 2019. His 6-year term is up in 2025.
U.S. lawmakers are trying to get help from tech industry leaders on how to regulate artificial intelligence. Meta's Mark Zuckerberg, Tesla's Elon Musk, OpenAI's Sam Altman, and others met with senators for the first of 9 forums on growing concerns around AI.
The consequences of AI going wrong are severe. So we have to be proactive rather than reactive.
Putting guardrails in place to deal with issues like bias and worker education and jobs.
AI is not going away. It's going to be here for a long, long time.
Some of the problems we're already seeing with AI include new ways to spread misinformation and racial bias in facial recognition technology. Colorado Democratic Senator Michael Bennet is part of a bipartisan group of lawmakers pushing for legislation to create a new tech regulating federal agency.